Janelle, I'm so mad. I'm gonna have to get some lawyers involved.
As long as that property remains a source of contention, I can't fully move on.
Janelle, I'm so mad. I'm gonna have to get some lawyers involved.
I'm not trying to rip you off, Meri.
There's a few things that I will fight for, and this is one of them.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Thursday, March 20th. We are T-minus 1 month from the next half of season 19 of Sister Wives. I know so many of you guys are like, Katie, where is all the Sister Wives content? You know, during the hiatus, a lot of family members actually kind of take a break. And so there's not a lot to talk about. And unless there's like a new filing in court, or if there's something that happens at Coyote Pass, of course, I'm going to tell you about it. We've been talking about Christine Brown Woolley's new book that's coming out, which will be out in September. But here is the new details about what's coming up for the second half of the season. Now, most importantly, this will include the continued fight over Coyote Pass. There will be some episodes about, I don't know, Meri and Robyn. There'll be a tell-all. I don't actually know how many episodes are in this part of the season. You know, the new trailer, it has the tell-all, and then it has like 2 separate storylines about Coyote Pass, and then this thing about Meri and Robyn. And I don't know if this Meri and Robyn storyline is going to encompass, 7 episodes or not. We also know that these trailers also don't include every single episode. And what is not discussed in the trailer, this one or the previous one that was released, was the passing of Garrison Brown back a year ago, actually. It was a year ago in March 4th that he passed away. One development that happened a couple days ago was that Maddie Brown Brush had her baby, her 4th child, a baby girl, and her child's name, the middle name, is actually a tribute to Garrison. So she announced the baby on her Instagram, and she wrote, "Absolutely worth the wait. Miss Amelia Estelle Brush has finally made her grand entrance. Our sweet girl took her time, keeping us in suspense, but when she decided it was time, she didn't waste a second. Born on 3/14, she arrived absolutely perfect." Estelle is the Latin word for star, and someone took notice of that in the comments, and they knew that Mr. Garrison loved to take photographs of stars and was a huge into using telescopes and having amazing photos that he posted on his Instagram. And they asked if Estelle was a tribute to Garrison and Garrison's love for stars, and Madison said yes. So Estelle is actually the tribute to her late brother, Garrison Brown. Now, the second half of the season, which will be starting, interestingly, this dispute that's going to be bubbling up between Meri and Robyn, I think I don't know, to be quite honest, if it's going to include all the details. I know that part of the reason why she had a falling out with them, at least one of Meri's friends told me allegedly, was because of the way that Cody and Robyn sort of had dismissed Leon, Cody and Meri's child, and not accepted Leon's transition, and that Cody and Robyn had pretty awful feelings and sentiments towards the children in the family that were not cis and heterosexual. So I know part of that was that tension, but I don't know if it was also having to do with her kind of waking up to what all of us have seen, was that Robyn manipulated. What I did notice, though, is that there's this part here where she's speaking to Jen about this issue with Robyn, and Robyn says something really funny. Check it out.
There's so many people that are like, she was a liar, she was manipulating.
I always had Meri's back, even when people were plotting against her, ignoring her.
Robyn says that she always had Meri's back, even when everyone was plotting against her or ignoring her. Is she for real? Did she just say that there was plots against Meri in the family? It's not normal to be in a family where people are plotting against someone. And whenever Robyn makes an accusation like this and she accuses someone else of doing it, it always makes me believe that she was the one that was doing it, because I feel like it's her way to get ahead of the criticism or the accusation that's coming her way. And I think that because an earlier part of season 19, there was this awakening for Meri because Cody and Robyn made a comment about how they first met, and it was not how Meri recalled. They stated publicly in an episode that they met at church, they made eyes, that Cody was smitten with her, but it wasn't, appropriate for him to do that. And then suddenly he makes contact with her, while he's with Meri under a complete and utter coincidence, which I never believed. And they discussed having these feelings for each other before they were ever introduced to each other, which it's just obviously whatever. I don't believe that. And then Mary's starting to doubt this idea about the divorce. Did this divorce really have to do with the kids, or was it a smokescreen where it wasn't about the kids and the divorce was because Cody and Robyn wanted to get married and move on with their lives and then slowly push everyone out? Because that's absolutely what it looked like on the show, even though they were trying to claim like nothing had changed. And Mary's starting to question these things, right? Was this intentional? Did they do this intentionally? Did they mislead me? Did they manipulate me? And the answer, Meri, is obviously yes. But what she said is plotting against, right? Plotting against. And anytime she starts talking and throwing out these accusations, I know she's talking about herself. And suddenly I had this light bulb moment. And I was like, this reminds me of when in 2015, there was like all this news coming out about the divorce because internet people had found the filings in court, right? And it was before the family had announced the divorce at all. And it was also before, they had crafted the storyline and about the divorce. And I had this moment where I thought, oh, this reminds me of that story that I saw on the reality T page. And it was that Robyn had given Cody an ultimatum, and she was angry at Meri, and she was sick of Meri using her control over her, and she was sick of being sort of that fourth wife without any control, and she was tired of Cody not, pledging his allegiance to her. And so she basically made a threat to Cody that if he didn't marry her and make her the legal wife, she would leave him. And at the time this was all happening, I think she was either pregnant or becoming pregnant. I can't remember, with one of the kids. And there was this threat that she would take off, and it was before Cody had adopted the children. And it was a way for Robyn to not only get her kids adopted, but also to get her a legal union, giving her control over the money and over the other women. So when she says plotting against, I believe Cody and Robyn plotted against Meri. And I think Robyn is the one that pushed Cody to make a choice because she wanted to be the top wife. And I think Cody willingly did it because he wanted Robyn and no one else at that point. So Robyn is basically indirectly in a bombshell admitting that she plotted against Meri. And does that surprise anyone? I know she said even when other people were, but we know how much she accuses people of doing things, and she was the one that did it. So that's just something to think about.
I had this bond with her, and I'm now questioning, why tell me that you want to have a relationship with me and then ghost me?
You feel Cody abandoned Meri.
We were all abandoned.
I am so sick and tired of being guilty for loving Robyn.
Whatever, I don't care.
It appears as though Robyn is going to be confronted about Meri's release and her belief on whether or not Cody abandoned Meri. And honestly, it doesn't matter what Cody and Robyn say. And I'm not a fan of the Apostolic United Brethren, but Meri went there and asked for a release and showed them why she deserved one, and they granted her a release. And so it doesn't really matter what Cody and Robyn think because it's done. And Meri is done with them. And they all got their marriages through this church, and this church has severed ties spiritually, which they really can't do that. But, from the belief system, if they still believe this, and if Robyn still wants to be a part of the church, she has to respect that choice. And so honestly, it doesn't really matter if Cody abandoned Meri. The church said that they did. I don't know what she's responding to when she says, I don't know, whatever, because she could have been reacting to anything. So they're making it look like asking Robyn, do you think Cody abandoned Meri? And Robyn then going, I don't care, whatever. That I doubt that's what she said. I do think it's interesting that Christine then pointed out that he abandoned all of us because that's what he did. He abandoned each one of the women and he wanted nothing to do with them. And that's what these men do. They find their favorite and they just put the other women out to pasture. And Robyn's day will eventually come. In the first trailer, Suki says to him, asks him about his sex life and if he had sex with other women before Meri. And he says, I'm going to shut this down. And then in this clip, she's asking about if he'll do another plural marriage and if he'll marry other women. And he says he's going to shut it down. So I don't know what he actually is going to be shutting down. It's just very careful editing. But they used Cody saying, Suki, we're going to shut this down in two separate places. And I doubt he said it more than one time. So basically, what I'm getting out of this new, I guess, synopsis is that Robyn is really going to be getting creamed by Meri. The other point I would like to make is that Robyn made a point of saying that other people were ignoring Meri, but really, Robyn was actually ignoring Meri. She didn't call her, she wouldn't text her back, she wouldn't engage with her. She basically lived in her little house and never interacted with Meri ever. And then, on the show was pretending like they were best friends. So I'll be interested to see kind of how this all plays out. But, I think after 19 years, 19 seasons, it's important, at least for me, to see Robyn get her comeuppance because for how long was she able to stay in this bubble with no one really pushing back and having to like pretend as though she had done nothing wrong? And they had to like live in this facade where everyone had to bow down to her. And now she's finally going to get feedback from the people that she hurt. I highly doubt Robyn will take accountability in any way. My prediction is that she will deflect, she will project, she will gaslight, she will pretend like she doesn't remember, she will be angry, she will be frustrated, she'll fake cry. I mean, we didn't see any tears yet in that. If she doesn't cry at this tell-all, it'll be the first time we've ever not seen her cry at a tell-all. Robyn will never take accountability, no matter what. You know what I mean? And so I always have to find myself reading in between the lines and reading into what is she accusing someone else of doing, and this is exactly what Robyn has done. So bottom line, Robyn has full on admitted that she plotted against Meri, which is absolutely disgusting because this would confirm to what we already knew is that she came into this family with an agenda. She meticulously manipulated Meri and then strategically got in a position with Cody where she could take over the family finances and get into the position as legal wife and thus work on draining the bank account. Quite honestly, I don't view Robyn and Cody's relationship as one of a soulmate. I think that she looks at Cody as a tool for money and for being provided for and for like security for her kids. I don't think Cody as an individual is anyone that matters to her. He's just an object to fuel her need to buy shit. You know what I mean? And to get her shopping addiction met. And when people like Robyn and Cody are cornered, they go into full on collapse and they start yelling and screaming and throwing hands. And Cody, I imagine in this tell all in the second half, when he's confronted with the atrocious way that he harmed these women and hurt them and abandoned them, he's going to have a hissy fit and he's going to throw a meltdown. I mean, he's probably going to scream and yell because he doesn't want to take accountability for anything. And, he can say all day long that he's sick and tired of everyone getting mad at him for falling in love with Robyn and being in love with one woman. But Cody had a responsibility, if this is what his argument is, that he was in love with one woman. If he believed that he was in love with one woman, and we all know that he had a responsibility then to be honest with the women that he was with and let them know that he was leaving with Robyn, right? Instead, he forced them and led them on and made them stay in the situation so that he could continue to make money and pretend like he was a polygamist on a show where he had no engagement with these people outside of filming. And think about how abusive that was to the kids and to the women who, on the one hand, had to pretend for cameras that everything was fine. And then on the other hand, when cameras are turned off, they don't see him. He's not around. He's not engaged. He's over at Robyn's all the time. He's spending all of his money at her house. They're looking at the bank accounts and it's all like dwindling away. They don't have their needs met, but Cody and Robyn are sitting on a fortune. It's disgusting. So I'm here for it. So Robyn's bombshell confession had my mouth on the floor, and we'll have to wait and see for what's to come, but it's T minus 30 days, and the next half of Sister Wives will be on air for you on Sundays at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What are your thoughts about this? Were you surprised to hear these confessions by Robyn, or were you not surprised and you're like, this is exactly what I expected? Do you think that she has any idea that we're onto her, that when she makes these kinds of accusations towards other people that we know she's talking about what she's done? Tell me in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.